Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this workshop of eduCLaaS. ASSOCHAM, this goes back into some history, I would like to say, about digitalizing the MSME and supporting the MSME on growing their business. And we went ahead and while during our visit to Singapore sometime in November, we went ahead and signed an MOU with eduCLaaS to go ahead and uh, help the Indian MSMEs upskill into the digital platform and see how we can grow our business in India and support the MSMEs in India. So this started way back, like I said, in probably September sometime, and then November we signed this MOU, and we wanted to go ahead and have some workshops done digitally. We didn't want to do it physically, obviously, because uh, this is also a platform to go ahead and digitalize the SMEs. So might as well go ahead and do digital workshops and see how eduCLaaS can help us support this platform. We today have a few members of eduCLaaS, like we have Mr. Vikram Garg, who is the national head for eduCLaaS in India. He has worked a lot with the Indian MSMEs and helped them support uh, their organizations to become more digital in this space and grow their business from a digital environment. And he's been very successful in that. We also have with us Mr. Christopher David, who comes with about 20 years of experience, which spans across insurance, assessments, semiconductors, IT services. So quite a variation. And that's how he brings his experience. His core attributes lie around needs analysis and solution mapping for organizations across technology and its implementation. We also have Bakr with us. I hope I'm pronouncing that. But he is the enterprise business lead for eduCLaaS, where he helps companies to plan and equip them with the right skills to go through their digital transformation journeys. He has more than 25 years of experience in the IT industry, mostly with IBM, where he has worked with organizations from various industries to transform them through different stages of the digital transformation. I am very hopeful that through this workshop today, you as our industry will go ahead and bet, and we'll see how this workshop really helps you. We'll start from this workshop should go ahead and help you assess uh, the digital proficiencies and skill gaps of your workforce, determine the current digital maturity level of your organization, prescribe your organization's digital transformation goals, and how eduCLaaS can go ahead and support you in the coming future and help you become a much better, a great growth plan for your organizations and how you can benefit through the digital platform. So I now hand it over to eduCLaaS, and I wish you all the very best, and I hope that you're able to gain a lot from this workshop. Thank you very much. I think Vikram, you're on mute.
Thanks for noticing that. Well, thank you very much, Neeraj, for setting up the context for this workshop. It is indeed a great privilege for eduCLaaS to be associated with ASSOCHAM, and we truly appreciate the vision that ASSOCHAM has set in helping the micro, medium, and small enterprises in digitizing their businesses, because that's the way the future is, and we already are witnessing a lot of changes in our own vicinity, whether it is at home or at business. There is so much of digitization that we are already experiencing, and mark my words, this is only the beginning. So if this is going to be the beginning, you can only imagine what more is in store in the days to come. And it's high time that India also catches up, and we are doing fairly well in select sectors. And one of the biggest success stories that the world is talking about for digital transformation is the government of India, which is been leading the whole digital transformation. And there are a couple of other industries too that have taken up the head start. But soon you will see that every industry is going to catch up, and most probably in your own vicinity, your own competition also is catching up. So I always I call this an unknown competition, because there is a lot of companies who might also already be in experiencing that the businesses are dropping, or the customer expectations and demands are also changing. But you may be finding it hard to point your finger and say, this is the company which is taking away my business, which will not happen when it comes to the companies that are driving businesses through digitization. They are invisible organizations largely. You will not find them physically present anywhere, but they are the ones who are doing the aerial bombing, or you could call it from cloud. They're driving their businesses. So it's high time that we open up our minds and look what is happening around in the industry and quickly catch up, because this, as I said, this is just the beginning. And now to set the context for the next 2 hours and 15 minutes, what we intend to do is to try and do our best to give you as much information that is possible, because the subject is very deep and it is quite challenging to pin down everything into and make it compact and deliver it all in this 2.5 hours. But we will try our level best to communicate all the key important components of digital transformation to you, and rest is upon you to evaluate your own business and uh, plan it out for yourself as to how you would implement this for your business, when and how. Right. So I am joined by my two colleagues, Abu Bakar, who is my counterpart driving the enterprise business in Singapore and Malaysia. And I have other colleague, Christopher David, who is the regional solutions lead supporting all the international countries on developing the solutions, which is company specific. So the workshop is going to split into two sessions. The first one will be led by Abu Bakar, who will give a high level view of digital transformation, what it is and why you should go for it. And then we will get into a longer exercise, which will be led by my friend Christopher David. He will explain you each and every component of digital transformation with examples, with videos, and simultaneously you also will take up an assessment, right? That's an exercise for you to identify where you stand or where your business stands today if you were to evaluate on various parameters of digital transformation. So enjoy this journey, and the one and only thing that we would expect from you is to be open, be interactive. Feel free to ask questions at any stage of this workshop, because it's not a one-side communication. It's not a webinar that we are delivering. We are engaged in a workshop. So I'm sure you will have a lot of questions which will linger your mind. Feel free to come forward and ask those questions so that it becomes more interactive, and there could be cross learning within the organizations that are attending this workshop too. Right. That being said, I now hand over the mantle to Abu Bakar to take us through the first section of what is digital transformation. So, Bakar, if you were to help the audience today understand what is this digital transformation that we are talking about, because digitization is started back in 90s. We have seen personal computers, we have seen Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, emails, WhatsApp. We are seeing it all. We also know that there is a website, but then what is it all of a sudden that we are talking about digital transformation? So could you, if you could elaborate and help us understand, that would do a great help to the audience today. Over to you, Bakar.
Thank you very much, Vikram and ASSOCHAM, to for inviting me to present in this session. Yeah, so I'm very honored to be here and to be in front of all of you here in India because our time zone here is a bit different. Yeah, I think 2.5 hours time zone. But yeah. I'm very honored with that. So let me just share my screen first. I understand that my my screen looks reversed. Is it because I've already set it up? It looks okay, but I'm not sure why somebody mentioned that it looks reversed. I don't know.
I think Bakar, we can just go ahead with it. It's only the
Yeah,
backdrop
yeah, okay.
which is mirrored, but the presentation is perfectly fine.
Okay. So you all can see my presentation, my slides, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Vikram mentioned about, in terms of digitalization and all that, it has been happening not only now but previously before that. But now more and more people and more organizations are looking into digitalization or transforming their organization digitally because that is basically the thing that every organization needs to do because that's not only about growing but it's also about surviving. Yeah, because if companies or organizations do not think about digital transformation, sooner or later they might be out of business because we have seen a lot of examples in our daily life that companies go out of business because they don't care about technology, what's happening in the technology front. Example is like, I'm not sure about India, but I'm sure in Singapore or Malaysia, in terms of the taxi industry, for example, we don't have anymore traditional taxi industry where you go by the roadside and just stop a taxi or something like that, because now we have the apps that has like Uber or Grab that does that kind of thing, and it drives the traditional taxi business out of business. So that shows the importance of technology, and for us to keep pace with the technology to understand how it will affect our industry and also our organization. So that's why I think this presentation or this session is very important for all of us to understand how we can plan for our digital transformation journey, whether you are a micro or small or medium enterprises or even big enterprises. We all need to do that. Yeah. So okay, let's just let me just introduce eduCLaaS first. eduCLaaS is a company based in Singapore, started in Singapore, and now we are also moving into India, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, and all this, and all other ASEAN countries, in order to help companies to help them to equip their people with the right digital skills to go through the digital transformation. So eduCLaaS is basically a digital skills accelerator. We have a sort of blended or hybrid learning platform that allow learners to go through our courses. Yeah. So and then it is based in Singapore. It was started in Singapore, and we have been certified by Singapore government, MOE, Ministry of Education Singapore, eduTrust, and all that. And we have been accredited by a CET Center by Skills Future Singapore. And our courses also are accredited by over 100 international universities, because we also have bachelor's degree and also master's degree curriculum, where we partner with more than 100 universities all across Asia. Yeah, so we have more than 100 Pan-Asia campuses, and we have 50,000 learners and more than 2,000 enterprises so far that we have provide the learning sessions for them. And the other aspect that I want to highlight is that in terms of our learning modules, we have more than 90% completion rate. Yeah, what does that mean? For some of us, maybe say, oh, so what, 90%? When people attend the courses, they should get, 100% completion, right? Yeah. But the thing is, if you look at online training, especially, if you Google, for example, the completion rate, when I say online learning, is like Coursera, for example, the completion rate is actually, the average is about 15%. You can Google this and you can, check the figure in terms of online completion rate. They say it's only 15%. What does that mean? That means a lot of people go through online courses. They register for it, they enroll for it, but they don't complete it. Only 15% complete the online learning. Yeah. But for us, we have managed to get 90% learners to complete our courses, because we are not just online learning platform. We provide hybrid and blended learning. We combine with, e-learning and all other factors, which I will explain further later. So that makes our completion rate very high, more than 90%. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of collaboration, these are some of the companies, organizations that collaborate with us. Not all of these. We have more, but I'm just showing you, based on, the India situation. For example, we ASSOCHAM and all that, Confederation of Indian Industry and all that. And we also Microsoft partner, Amazon, AWS partner as well, with LinkedIn, SAP, and all that. So we have collaborated with a lot of organizations, and we also partner with higher level education institution, for example, universities and all that, to enable us to have the right skills, the right profile to offer the right solution, the right learning modules for the learners, for the companies. So here we are talking about digital transformation. Different people may have different understanding of what digital transformation is. Okay, so I'm just putting here, just the definition of digital transformation, what it means and all that, because there are a lot of definitions over there. But I just put here one of the definitions. Yeah. So digital transformation is the process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, culture, and customer experiences to meet changing business and market requirements. Yeah. So digital transformation is not just about technology. Yeah. It's about culture, mindset, customer experiences, business processes, and all that. Yeah. So it's not about getting the latest technology for your business, and it's about meeting changing business and market requirements. Because now with the pandemic, we have experienced the pandemic and all that is probably behind us a little bit now. But the companies, organizations need to think more and more in order to survive and to thrive post-pandemic. So that's why it is important for everybody, for every organization, to understand what digital transformation is all about and how my company or my organization need to do in order to transform. Yeah. Okay. So does it apply to me, to my industry? If you look at this chart, digital disruption is for all industries. I'm not going to elaborate one by one here, but you can see here, whichever industry you are in, digital transformation or digital disruption will happen for your industry. So be mindful of that. be prepared for that. You may not need to do everything now, but we must have a plan on how to do it sometime in the future, if not now. So that's why it is important to understand all of this. And the thing is, if we wait too long, we may be left behind and we may not survive in the future. Look at this. This is just to give you a rough idea of how technology is moving now compared to previously. Yeah, the telephone, for example, not the mobile phone, the telephone, the traditional phone. Before this, actually it took 75 years for the telephone, the traditional telephone, to reach 50 million users. Yeah, automobiles, it took 62 years. And as we move along, Facebook, it took only 4 years to reach 50 million users. WeChat, only 1 year. And Pokemon Go, the recent game that we had, probably some of you have played with that, it only took 19 days to reach 50 million users. So that shows, in terms of the speed of things, the speed of technology that changes our life. And we, as an organization or as a human being, cannot afford to wait too long because of this. Because if we wait too long, things will pass us. Yeah, we will be left behind, and we may be obsolete in the future. So that's why we need to have something in mind to plan for how our organization need to go about doing digital transformation. So the other aspect that I would like to highlight is in terms of realizing where we are as an organization right now. IDC and Cisco have done a study. Yeah, in their study, they have identified 4 different stages of digital maturity. How companies or organizations, especially SME, embrace the digital transformation. Yeah, so they divided into 4 stages. Those in stage 1 are what we call digital indifferent. Yeah, so these companies basically they have the lack of digital skills, and they may not have the necessary plan to go through digital transformation. Yeah, they may be reactive. Yeah, when they see things like this, or they do this this way, but they don't have a proactive plan to go through a digital transformation. So that's what we call a digital indifferent. Okay, stage 2 are companies in what we call digital observer. Yeah, so these companies basically they have maybe a rough plan on how to do it, but basically more on tactical in nature. Yeah, many processes still not automated, but they have some digital efforts in progress, but not as overall thing, more on tactical level, day-to-day things. If other competitors are doing it, probably they also will do it depending on the situation and all that. Yeah, so many processes still not automated. Yeah, and then they have some digital skills, but not enough to embark on the full-blown digital transformation. So that's in stage 2, where we call them as a digital observer. Yeah, and the third stage, stage 3, is digital challenger. So for this digital challenger, these companies are more ready for digital transformation. They focus on becoming more agile, more adaptable to the situation, to the changes that are happening. Yeah, so they may have a digital strategy, but maybe they don't have a long-term vision or strategy. Maybe they have some short-term digital strategy. Yeah, and they may have some strategy investment in talents and all that, but not as a whole. Yeah, so the next stage, the most advanced stage, is stage 4, digital native, where this is where the companies have a full-blown digital plan, and they probably implement most of it, and they have the right digital skills exist in their organization. So organization, by right, whether you are small or big, we should all strive to go for stage 4 or digital native, or at least for now go for digital challenger. Yeah, stage 3, if not right away to digital native. So that's why eduCLaaS has this kind of things that we need to do to help companies, the initiative to help companies to go. For example, if you are from digital indifferent, we want you to go to at least to digital challenger, or if you are at the digital observer, we want you to at least go to digital challenger. So based on the table that we provide here, then you can see where your company is right now based on the definition that we have provided here. Maybe I just pause here for a moment for you to look at it and just roughly see where your company right now, and from there you can identify so that you can plan properly later. So this gives you an awareness of where your company is currently. Yeah. Okay, so in the study also, they have also done, based on profiling of companies, especially small and medium enterprises, yeah, SMEs in different countries, yeah. So, and they have done the study, and based on the studies, on average, they took, the average of those companies and look at where they are currently. As you can see here, Singapore is the most advanced compared to the rest, even to the UK, USA, or Germany. Singapore, but most of them are still at digital observer stage. I'm talking about medium SM, micro and small medium enterprises here. This is the study done for this organization, not the large organization. So that's why you can see in terms of their digital maturity is quite behind compared to probably large organizations. So most of them in India, for example, is still in the digital indifferent. Same thing with Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, for example. Yeah, some advanced countries like Australia and Singapore, UK, they are at digital observer. So it is our intention to help, because a lot of companies are still at the digital indifferent stage. We want to help these companies to move at least to digital challenger. Yeah, so that's why we have this initiative to help the organizations. And of course, in terms of not only if you embrace the digital transformation, if you are at a digital native, you will enjoy higher growth, but you also will help you to survive and thrive in the future. So be focused to go into at least digital challenger or digital native, so that you can also grow faster than your competitors. So that's why it is important for us to have the right digital transformation plan for your organization. And the other interesting thing in the study is that when they ask, IDC and SECO ask all these companies, what are your top challenges in doing digital transformation? Yeah, the number one challenge that they say is that it's shortage of digital skills and talent within my company. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure in India also you face the same thing. In Singapore and in Malaysia, in Indonesia, Philippines also, I'm sure they face the same thing. Shortage of digital skills and talent within my company. So that's why eduCLaaS provide this initiative to help companies, especially small and medium enterprises, to equip themselves with the right digital skills to go for digital transformation. Yeah, because of the shortage of digital skills among the companies. So the number one challenge is lack of necessary technologies to enable digital transformation. and also lack of insight into operational and customer data. Yeah. So with the right digital skills and with the right technology, where we partner with Microsoft and all that, we can provide you the right solution to go for the digital transformation successfully. Okay. So how do we do it? Yeah. So how do we do holistic digital transformation with class at work? Okay, the other thing I want to emphasize here, class, CLAAS here is not a spelling mistake. Yeah, class here stands for competency learning as a service. That's why the short form of CLAAS, which also the name of our company, eduCLaaS, just to ensure everybody understands that. Yeah. So how do we do that? Yeah. So there are different approaches that we can do to go for a digital transformation. One way is through outsourcing. Yeah. So we get consultants to do it for us, or system integrators to do it for us. Yeah. And they will study our company and propose solution for us, and then help us to implement that. Yeah. However, when we have this approach through outsourcing, we need to pay a lot of money to the consultants or system integrator. And a lot of companies, especially small and medium companies, they may not have the financial resources to pay all these consultants and system integrators to do that. So that's why eduCLaaS proposed this other approach, the self-service approach, yeah, where companies can do a self-service digital transformation, where they do deep skilling. Yeah, you get your employees, you empower your employees, go through the deep skilling process to understand or these technologies that are applicable for your organization, so that you can go through the digital transformation. And then we help you. eduCLaaS also can help you with implementation mentoring, because for every session that you attend with eduCLaaS, we provide you a mentor to help you further in your digital transformation journey. And if you still need some help to put things together after going through all this, just to tie up some loose ends, we also can provide last mile consulting. So meaning that it's just a small portion of it, not the whole thing. You ask a consultant to do it. Yeah. So we do last mile consulting to help you to tie up some loose ends and all that, to go through the overall aspect of the whole implementation. So we empower the organization to go through self-service digital transformation, so you will be more in control with your digital transformation journey. Imagine if you have chosen the outsource approach, where you hire consultants to do it. Let's say you have done your digital transformation this year, and with all the technology in place, and next year you have some of the technologies, because technologies keep changing. You need to change some of the things because of the change in the technology next year. So now you need to get the consultant back. You need to pay the consultants back to redo some of the parts that you need to change in terms of your digital transformation. Then you need to pay for the consultants again. Whereas if you go for the self-service approach, because your employees are equipped with the right technical skill, with the right digital skills, you will be able to change, because of technology change, for example, easier. So you will be more in control with the self-service approach. Okay. So when we talk about a digital transformation, maybe for some of us, it's a very big word. How do I go about doing it? It sounds sexy, digital transformation, but a lot of things that you need to learn, a lot of technology, a lot of things. So how do we do it? Yeah. In eduCLaaS, we have certain way of doing it. So we have our digital transformation stages and goals. So we go through stages. What is stage one? Stage one, before you embark on the digital transformation, the first stage is for you to get ready for digital economy or for digital transformation. Okay, so that's the first stage. And after you get ready, then you growing in digital economy. After you grow, the next thing that you need to do is, the third stage is you leap ahead. Yeah, you leap ahead from your competitors so that you make full use of whatever that you have, data and all that, to leap ahead of your competitors, to move forward in your industry. So to get ready for digital economy, what are the things that you need to look out for? You must have agile workforce who are flexible, who are adaptable to changes, who has the right mindset to go for digital transformation. I have, I'm very old already. I have a lot of experience in the IT industry and all that. And most of the things that I found out, throughout my experience in the IT industry doing digital transformation, is that a lot of projects fail not because the technologies are not good. A lot of projects fail because of people factor. Because people are not ready, or the mindset of the people, they are not ready with all this. So if we force them to do this with the technology and all that, they are not ready, they don't have the right mindset, the project will fail. So that's why it's important for us to have agile workforce before we start on the digital transformation, to get ready for this. Yeah. And then once you have the agile workforce, then we need to make sure that our workplace is connected. We have with the right enterprise resource, ERP software, enterprise resource planning tools, with the right communication tools, collaboration tools, with the right CRM, customer relationship management tools, and all that, so that you have connected workplace. Yeah. So this will give your company agile innovative in doing the things, and employees who are adaptable. Yeah, and it provides a unified customer journey, because you have all the customer data, and when they interact with your organization, they feel they have a seamless interaction with you. So that will lead to customer satisfaction. Yeah, so that's the first stage, ready for digital economy. So once you are ready, then the next stage is growing in digital economy. This is where you have online and offline commerce. You're doing digital marketing via whatever social media, or your website, your whatever channels that you can have, omni-channel. Yeah, and this will lead you to borderless business, and will open up more businesses for you. And the third stage is leap ahead, and this is a date where you need to use all the data-driven business, and this will provide you intelligent business with the data analytics, artificial intelligence, to analyze all this data, because sometimes you need to understand your customers better. You may have your internet data, your customers' data internally in your CRM system, ERP system, and all that, but there are also data out there on social media about your company. People talk about your company on social media. So how do you leverage all this data, analyze this data, to make sure that you capture the right sentiment, the sentiment of your customers, in order to provide the solution that meet your customers? So this is what we call data-driven business, and it provides your business with intelligent approach to help you with the right solution to propel your business further in the future. So that's basically, in a nutshell, on how you need to plan for your digital transformation. Yeah, it's not just, okay, I want to go for digital transformation tomorrow. Let's go. Let's just implement ERP system tomorrow. We need to have a proper plan for that. Yeah. So now, what do we do in eduCLaaS? We provide, we guide you through the digital skills to help you with the right digital skills for your company to go through to plan for the digital transformation and all that. So we have the approach we call when we do our learning. We have this approach called 70-20-10 work integrated class. What does that mean? Probably some of you heard about this before. Yeah, I think the industry also use some of this 70-20-10 learning approach. What does that mean? I'm sure you agree with me that the most effective way in learning something new is by doing it. Yeah, through on-the-job experience. That's the most effective way to do. So that's why in this learning model, 70%, we emphasize 70% of the things that you need to learn, you can learn from on-the-job experience. Yeah, the other 20% is through mentoring and coaching, and 10% will go through the normal classroom learning, reading certain materials and all that. Yeah, so that's how it is with the 70-20-10. So let's say let's go from 10 20 70 to put you in the right perspective. Let's say you want to enroll for a digital marketing class because you want to learn about digital marketing class, and you enroll a digital marketing module with eduCLaaS. Okay, so when you go for that, when you enroll for that in eduCLaaS, what we do is we give you the e-learning module for you to read some of the materials in e-learning. E-learning here meaning you can read it anytime, anywhere. We provide you the link, the material, you can access the link anytime, read the material or some videos, view some videos and all that. So you learn, yeah, about it through e-learning, anywhere, anytime. Yeah. So after you have learned through e-learning, then you go for our what we call flipped classroom. So in flipped classroom, we have an instructor with the rest of other learners for the instructor to elaborate further on the concept of if it is digital marketing, on the concept of digital marketing, for example, so that you can also ask the instructor, and also you can also collaborate and discuss with other fellow learners on the concept and all that. Yeah, so that will give you the conceptual knowledge. Yeah, but that's only 10% of it. Okay, so the next is once you have the conceptual knowledge, for the traditional classroom learning, this is where they stop. Then you're supposed to go back to your office and try to implement it using whatever knowledge that you have acquired. But most of us, we cannot just, after learning for 2 or 3 days, we cannot just implement, because sometimes it's difficult to understand and then to implement it right away. So for eduCLaaS, what we do next is to provide a mentor for you so that you can develop your higher order skills. From the knowledge, you can develop, your higher order skills. So this mentor will work with you based on your own project. If you have certain projects. So for example, if you come for a digital marketing class, you may have a project because your company just launched a new product. So you may have, your company needs you to implement, to have some sort of plan to go for digital marketing for this new product. Yeah. So then you can bring your project and work with the mentor to come up with the plan for digital marketing plan for your new product. Yeah. So the mentor will guide you through the process. So it provides you the higher order skills in order to implement whatever knowledge that you have earlier. Yeah. So this will give you 20% of the overall learning. So once you understand that, once you have the project plan, the digital marketing plan, then you can show it to your boss that, yeah, this is the benefit of attending this, because right away I can get the outcome already. Yeah. So you are able to implement what you have learned right away. And then the next step is for you to, maybe you have other projects later on, then you can keep on doing it, and it will increase your ability. So that's what we call workplace on the job training, the 70%. portion of it. So sooner or later, once you do this more and more, then you become an expert on it. Yeah. So that's the difference between what we do in terms of our approach and maybe the traditional method. Yeah. So it's a hybrid learning. So what we call workplace learning with outcome. Yeah, you get the skills because it's workplace learning with industry expert mentoring, and we give you outcome right away because you can have your life project, your real project in your work that you can use to work with the mentor to come up with the outcome. And it provides you easy access because it's blended learning. Yeah, e-learning, instructor-led classroom, as well as mentoring and coaching. So it's provide easy access, and you will not be away from your job for so long. Yeah, so that's the benefit of our approach. Yeah, so these are some of the learning threads that I mentioned earlier in terms of what we offer. That just the big areas. Yeah, under digital fluency, for example, there are a few things. Under digital collaboration, there will be a few things as well, agile management, and also we have digital workplace, digital business, tech-enabled operation, intelligence business. Some of these will be explained further with by Chris in the next portion of our session today. Yeah, so I'm not going to go through all this right now. So yeah, so this is our engagement model. So for today, this is just, I give you just a highlight of what digital transformation is all about, what eduCLaaS offer, and how you can go in terms of digital transformation. Yeah. So in terms of our engagement model, for now, what we do is the next step is for you to go through digital skills discovery workshop, which Chris will be doing it with you right after my presentation, so that you can discover what sort of skills that you need to have in order to embark on your digital transformation. So this will give you digital upskilling plan so that you can later go for the class at work for digital transformation in 90 days. Yeah, so that's basically the engagement model and how we proceed with the session today. Yeah, so that's basically my session today. So yeah, that's all. And yeah, so I let me see. I just pass this to Vikram to to move to the next next item on the agenda. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Baka, for that wonderful elaboration on digital transformation and also relating with those real-time examples. We have a question from Akshans Chaudhary, and Akshans is asking if we are setting up a team in the organization for digital transformation, what should be the team structure and the respective employee profiles? If you allow me, I can answer to that, Bakar.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So, Akshans, digital transformation is a a very holistic exercise in the organization. You will need to put a plan both horizontal as well as vertical. Horizontal to cover all the common skills that every employee will have to acquire, so that across the board your whole organization is digitized in the manner in which everybody can work together, right? Which you will hear more from Christopher as he begins. The second one is on also creating a vertical plan, which is to develop the specialization skills, right? So you will essentially require both horizontal as well as vertical plan. And with respect to the organizational setup for a small and medium enterprise, one can do it themselves in a self-service mode with the assistance that we are providing you. But considering, so let's say if your scale is large enough that it makes sense for you to create a special team or an exclusive team to drive the entire digital transformation solution, then yes, you can also create a separate department within the organization, which again will in turn collaborate with all the other teams and develop the solution within the organization. So in terms of creating an exclusive team is a matter of the scale and size of the business. But however, when it comes to implementation, you, with irrespective of the size of the company, you will need both a horizontal upskilling plan as well as a vertical upskilling plan. I hope that answers your question. All right, great. Thank you so much, Bakar, once again. I now request Chris to take us through the verticals of digital transformation and also begin the assessment exercise.
Perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Vikram.
And also, I request the audience to continue to post your questions. We love to hear from you, and that makes it more engaging and more, the effective learning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Vikram. Baka, thank you very much. Very insightful. I think I'm going to take a few things away to relate and correlate with the participants on the workshop today. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this session. Just to do a very quick time check, we have another 1.5 hours left, and I'm going to make it worthwhile for everybody to be on this call today. Right. So very from the very beginning, from the top, right, what I want to do is, because this part of the webinar or the web session that we have today is going to be very interactive, very hands-on, we will cover two things, right? The first thing is predominantly, we will need to do an introspection to where we all stand within our current organization, not just as individuals, but also where the organization stands when it comes to the digital maturity index. Now, if you very clearly remember one of Baka's presentation or the slides where he showed an amalgamation of what the IDC and Cisco framework has, right? You had the IDC index and the Cisco index as opposed to the various processes, policies, people, integration, technologies. And basically, when you look at the chart itself, it tells you where you stand on an index of 1 to 4. So what I would like to do is I would like to very quickly post on the chat link an assessment link, right? Now, this assessment link will have two parts to it. The first part will be to introspect, to understand where your organization stands. We'd like to hear from you. It's more to get to know who you are, your designation, how many people work in the organization, and then also to finally move to understanding what are your thoughts of where your organization is on the IDC and Cisco framework. The second part is the assessment. Now, the assessment is going to be a very progressive assessment, because what will happen is I will run my presentation, which will be a combination of a lot of talking points, a lot of analogies, a lot of examples. Then we would move into assessments for each of these various pillars, and you'll get a hang of it once we move there. But for now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to very quickly post the assessment link. And my only request to everybody is, let me share my screen while I do that for you so you know what you need to do there. Just allow me a quick second. Right, I've just posted the assessment link. It's on Zoho survey. What you can do is you can click on the link, right? And when you click on the link, what you would get is, let me share my screen while we do this for you so you know exactly where we are. Right? And again, if there's any queries, any questions, we are on standby, so you could also let me know. It is important that you only move to a certain section of the survey and not beyond that, because that part is going to be very crucial to what I administer with you all from when we stop with the first part. Allow me a minute. I'm just moving to the very first page, and you can start from there. You'll know exactly what to do. I'll just kind of guide you through the first part, and then we'll begin with the webinar. Right? Just allow me a second. Okay. So as soon as you click on the link, what you would get is you would get this very form. Once you click on the terms and conditions and you accept that, you would move into getting to know you better. This is the first page. What you would need to do is I've just kind of filled this up initially for you. We just need to know these pieces of information: your name, your company's, or your organization name, the total employee count, your job title. I've just filled this in because I just wanted to give you a reference and draw some inference from there. And also your contact at eduCLaaS, typically who you're speaking to. So in this case, I'm assuming it's Preeti. You could put Preeti's name there, and also your email address. Now, once you fill that in, you move to the second section, which typically then talks about your organization details. If you would like to share this information with us, we would be really, it would be really helpful for us to revert to you with a very holistic proposal, which would incorporate all these details, right? Now, once you fill in this information, on the third page, as you remember what Baka presented, the IDC and Cisco framework, we would like to just for you to go back and think about that in terms of where your organization stands under each of these specific categories, make a mention, and then click on next, and you stop right there. The remaining section of the assessment, we will continue once I take you through the presentation and the slides that we have for you. So you basically, in other words, will need to stop on page number 4. I'm just going to give us a very quick minute before we proceed on that. And then we'll start with the workshop itself. Thank you. I'll just give it another 30 seconds. Anybody have any questions, just post them up on the chat. Right, and if I could have a few thumbs up, if you'll have the rights to give me the thumbs up on the group, please do that, so that I know that I can at least start to proceed with what we have in store for you today. Thank you. All right, before we proceed. Okay, so again, my request again to everybody is please wait on page number 4. The Q should have been the digital maturity index, where you fill in those 4 questions with those 4 radio buttons. And once you click on next, you wait on page number 4 for me so we can start. Yeah. So let me just proceed with this. If anybody has been left behind or still does not understand what to do, you can stop me. We have a team online and we'll help you with it. All right. So thank you very much. Okay. So what I have in store for everybody is taking what Baka has presented to you, understanding that all these jargons today have been thrown at us, at our counterparts, our colleagues, at our organization, multiple number of times, right? You don't have to really sit through a workshop to understand the real definition of it, right? So what I'm here to do is I'm here to simplify the process. I'm here to also handhold you to understand how does an organization move from where you are to being a digital challenger or digitally being somebody who is an organization or is an organization that can implement, that can also provide their employees with not just the necessary technologies, but also the right mindset, like Baka mentioned, right? Because a lot of project failures also determine the fact that a lot of people it's not just all about technology sometimes, right? It's about the mindset. How are you building that mindset? How are you creating that entire build up about your organization, taking a shift or a paradigm shift from where you are to where you want to be, right? So this is my agenda for today. I would like to very briefly provide everybody with just 30 minutes of information per section, right? And these 30 minutes of information will be broken down into 20 minutes of understanding what our solutions to your organizations are. Then going ahead and taking up the survey, we would like to do this in 5 minutes. And then also understanding what your skills or what your needs and requirements are for us to go ahead and tailor make a very appropriate proposal to get back to you with, right? So again, drawing inference from what we have in terms of what our solutions are, we have 4 very specific verticals, right? Now, let me just put this down. I'm not sure this is bothering everybody. So these are our solutions that eduCLaaS would like to help you with, obviously ranging from agile, your connected workplace, online to offline workplace, which typically is a semblance of how your marketing, sales functionalities work in unison, right? And then moving to smart workplace, which according to me is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle when you look at data driven businesses and being data smart, making decisions using data, right? So let's go ahead and look at these one by one. And to move to the very first piece, the first very important solution is how do you build an agile workforce for an agile workplace, right? Now it's very simple. Like I said, my job here is to simplify these processes for you. Now, the definition of being agile itself is creating and reacting to change fast, right? Now, what works typically for me is when I get up in the morning, I have a little application on my mobile phone. I call it the Evernote, and it's an application that's available on Google Store. Yes, I use an Android phone. So what I do is, as soon as I get up in the morning, what I do is I quickly go ahead and jot down my points that work for me, because they say, and what they say is right, if you sleep over a problem enough and you get up with a solution, and I've realized that that is relatively true further than you can expect it, right? So I have a lot of these things that and my mind's constantly racing to what to do next, right? So I get up in the morning, and while I'm having my coffee, right, I go ahead and jot down these points to what I need to do for the next day. I get on my laptop, I have a post-it that I can stick on my screen, and then I start working in functionality. My day is broken up in very simple tasks and very formidable tasks by the hour, so that by the time my day ends, I know what I need to do. So then I can go back and start creating my next day's curriculum, right? Now, this has helped me. Now, what if I were to tell you that there's a better way to do this, right? And if there's an easier way to do this, and if there was a way that is scientifically true, where if you can take that part of that puzzle, and let's not get to the technicality of it, we'll get to the 12 principles of Agile, right? And in terms of understanding what the manifesto says, but what if you can take these 12 principles, make it yours, and then go ahead and also have the employees, the people who understand how this will start affecting not just their collaborative efforts, but their effectiveness to also be able to complete tasks on time, and then correlate it to being able to pick up additional tasks that can also help offload a lot of burden off your chest, right? So agile is simply that, is creating and reacting to change very fast. And if you have a certain principle that's working, great for you, right? How do you take that principle and take a wheel that has already been created and use that and make it yours, right? Now, what I would like to do is, while I'm giving you a lot of these examples, right, I will take you through a lot of our partner videos in terms of understanding what people have to say about this as well, okay? So under the Agile Workplace, we have very three specific, three-pronged solutions that we've kind of put forth for our organization partners, our enterprises as well alike. Now, under Agile, what we would like to believe is, for you to be an Agile workplace, you need to be able to collaborate digitally. You need to be able to have an Agile management, and also be able to drive digital transformation from a leadership's perspective. And we had a very interesting question and that Vikram answered. And it is definitely a mix of horizontal and vertical roles that need to come about, because like I mentioned in the very beginning, that Baka also mentioned, right? That a lot of projects fail not because of technology ownership. I mean, obviously, yes, right? But it's also about the mindset. So it's important that business heads, leaders of the organization are driving the essence of what digital transformation is. Now, let's look at what digital collaboration has in store for you. Before I do that, just give me a second. Let me try and this out here. Sorry, there was a screen that was blocking my view. All right. Now, what is digital collaboration? In a very simple uh, way to define it, right? The process of two or more people, right, who are working together to complete a common task and to achieve a common goal. That is typically your organization goal. Now, if you look at the elements of the modern enterprise collaboration, the way we built it up, right? I will not take you through this entire schematics of the chart that I have on my screen, but if you look at the entire the flow from goals all the way to content and information, it's very evident right now. The customers that we are interacting with are very, very happy, and they're very pleased to know that an organization is giving them a lot of content to also be able to use, to also be able to be immediately gratified with terms of results in any form or manner, be it through your products, or be it through opening a bank account, or be it through anything where I can do it immediately instead of standing in a queue, right? Now, a lot of your modern day enterprises today have goals which are put onto various processes, and you have technologies that can typically handle them. So long story short, what I would like to put forth to all of us is, how are we using the company goals, equipping our employees, our colleagues with digital collaborative skills now when it comes to understanding how are they communicating internally, how are they co-creating internally, right? Are you finding, filtering, and also discovering information that is a part of your R&D sense in terms of understanding how am I finding better, innovative methods to do business, right? Now, how am I taking this information and using this to integrate that into some contextual business intelligence sense, right? Understanding how do I make sense of data from CRM or ERPs or the projects that I have in terms of failing matrices and putting controls into place. Am I using that effectively to also then go ahead and say, I have a very unified digital collaboration system in place, right? Which has a file sync and sharing system in place that has collaborative tools that I can use, that also poises a very good example. And it also encourages people in my social network to be also, who can also be able to channel that information back to us, right? So do we have that? So whenever I'm putting this question back to you, let us introspect to understand what we have already as given in stone or written in stone within the organization, and find other innovative ways where we can go ahead and start building better processes too, right? So do allow me, and I'm going to just quickly play a video for you. I would just request for you to sit back. These are partner videos. Just take some insights from them and we move on.
Having the right information at the right time is essential for any project to be successful.
I would just like to do a very quick check. Vikram, I know you have access to your mic. Can you hear my video? Is that clear?
Yes, it's audible. Chris, we lost the audio now.
Sorry, Vikram, you lost the audio again?
The first time it had come.
Okay, just a second. Let me try playing that again.
Having the right information at the right time is
Yes, it's audible.
for any project to be successful. No one knows this more than Vish. Vish is a project manager for a large construction company. There, he works closely with many people across departments. Many departments. Without collaboration from his team, Vish is building nothing because he didn't projects moving. Vish knows that digital collaboration is an imperative investment for him and his team. The problem is, Vish's company is stuck in the dark ages. They're still conducting a large portion of their project management process through Excel documents, email, and side conversations, and these antiquated solutions are just not working. For example, just the other day, Vish was in a status meeting with his leadership team, and while he was presenting his progress report, one of the architects in the room piped in with a more recent update based on a phone call that took place a few days before. Vish was embarrassed and frustrated. He knows he has to stay on top of project details, but the company's current communication process makes it nearly impossible. So Vish gets an idea. Vish calls Intellinet to set up a quick digital PMO. This allows Vish to manage all aspects of his project in real time from any device. Now, when Vish walks into a status meeting, he is confident he has all the information he needs. And better yet, leadership has taken notice. This improvement in communication has enabled the entire company to complete builds sooner with unprecedented accuracy and profitability.
All right, thank you everybody for your patience. So just some insights to our digital collaboration we have, and in terms of how that typically will help us not just with the short term, but also our long-term goals with a lot of integrated systems that are constantly being churned out today by itself. So let's look at the next solution that we have within the Agile framework. Now, being an Agile management is an approach where you constantly are looking at not just dividing work in small sections, but also looking at how these small sections or smaller projects are doing over a period of time. Sometimes today in the modern enterprise, and I'm going to constantly use that word, the modern enterprise today or the modern organization and individuals sometimes might not have that kind of time at their disposal to break things down, wait for a project cool off period, do some sort of a robotic technology digging to understand where the bugs are. Sometimes we might not have the time. So my best trusted goal, and we've spoken to a lot of organizations, is how do you take these 12 agile principles, very scientifically broken down, make it your own, and then go ahead and see how it works for you? Are you a person who understands what agile is by a book and pen methodology? So what if you were to go ahead and use a more scientific methodology, but also breaking it down and making this very, very specifically your very own, that kind of suits your organizations and the people who work for you, right? Now, if I can just very quickly also substantiate that with a very quick video for you. Again, please sit back and enjoy what we have for you. It's very informative. Thank you.
Doing agile is not the same as being agile. Doing agile can be learned in a 2 to 3 days class that teach the basics of Scrum and Kanban. It is focused on practices, iterations, user stories, and much more. Being agile requires much more. A cultural shift to an agile mindset, as well as changes to the way employees are managed, motivated, trained, and hired. The human brain is divided into two major parts, the left and the right brain. The left brain is mostly logical facts. Using your left brain, you inspect and adapt, focus and deliver the right thing at the right time, apply various practices, and use numerous frameworks, such as Scrum and Kanban. By using your left brain, you are doing agile. The right brain is mostly feelings and intuition. When using your right brain, you trust, you collaborate, you bring joy at work, learn continuously, bring in transparency, and finally, you live and breathe the 4 values and 12 principles of agile. By using your right brain, you are being agile. This is an important difference between people who are truly being agile and those that are simply practicing agile techniques. Focusing only on practices or frameworks without taking the agile mindset into account compromises the agile journey. This is because without the right mindset, it can be incredibly difficult to deal with complex issues in empirical environments and uncertain situations. Agile is a mindset put in practice through demonstrating behavior as living the values through actions. Making the transition from doing to being requires an organization to perform, apply, and understand the principles and practices of agile over the command and control mindset of the past. If you are looking for a place to start, become familiar with the Agile Manifesto, which is the foundation for the Agile way of working. There are 4 values and 12 principles of Agile defined by the Agile Manifesto that are the guiding practices in implementing and executing Agile within your team or organization. What's important to remember is that you must be agile in your adoption of Agile. Thank you.
All right, thank you again. Just to move ahead in what we have for you next is the most important part, if you ask me, is putting all of this together is where we get our leaders, we get our business heads together, the people who actually drive this transformation. Do you already have a team that you have identified? Do you have a competency roadmap that you've created? Questions like this are something that you need to keep asking yourself, because it's not about just thinking about digital transformation. It's about the plans that need to go into creating a roadmap to be digitally transformed, right? So when you look at a digital transformation leadership, right? Now it's when businesses not just use new technologies, where you're replacing old methods of doing things, but it's also gaining a very unprecedented edge over your competition. And it's all about that, let's be honest, right? So when you're looking at a digital transformation journey right now, obviously, it's how you not just transforming your product, but it goes way back to a few minor steps or processes before that. It's about how you, as a leader, are not just empowering your employees by the right mindset, with also enabling them with the right tools to not just engage your customers, but also optimize your operations. Now, by you optimizing your operations, you're giving your employees the benefit, the capability, the podium. You're giving them an audience to also digitally innovate, right? The design thinking aspect of the human side of things, right? Which then correlates to understanding how your product can be transformed, right? Now, this brings together an entire ecosystem where you call it the systems of intelligence. And this is driven entirely by what we call a digital transformation leadership. Now, let me just draw some more inference to what I have in the form of a video for you that'll give you some more insights to how this actually transpires. Just give me a quick second.
McKinsey recently published a good article titled Speed and Scale, Unlocking Digital Value, Customer Journeys. My intent is to enhance the content and to provide a one-page blueprint for effective and scalable digital transformation. Let's use an information-centric legacy company such as a travel agency, financial, or insurance company as our example. Such a company has many internal elements such as people, processes, data, applications, organization, and culture, and external elements such as suppliers, vendors, and governments that interact with one another to provide value to the customer. Until the last few years, the external pace of change has been slow, and therefore the elements that make up the company did not have to change that fast. Now the environment is much different. Today, the customer may be interacting with the company through multiple channels, such as online and through agents. They're looking for simple and seamless ways to interact with the company. For example, when a customer uses a music download service, he expects to search, buy, download, and listen to the song of his choice within a few seconds. If this interaction becomes painful, he will quickly move on to other companies that offer a better experience. Customer journeys are the mechanisms through which companies interact with their customers. For effective business transformation, we need to focus on such journeys while, at the same time, take into account the whole ecosystem of interacting elements that make the journeys possible when designing the digital future. But it will be very difficult to take all journeys into account for digital transformation. The best option is to first select a subset of such journeys as a starting point. Which of those journeys to pick depends on the importance of that journey to the customer experience and may be based on criteria such as high volume or high impact. More importantly, they have to align with the digital vision of the company. Once a small set of journeys are picked, they have to be modeled so that they can be reimagined and digitized. We should not attempt to simply digitize an existing journey, but rather look at how the journey can be improved. For example, you may want to reduce the number of steps. Each step in the journey may focus on certain attributes. Branding may be important in one step, while speed may be important in another. Each step in the journey is essentially enabled by modular business services that can be reused in multiple places. In this example of a customer purchasing insurance, one step requires the customer to digitally sign the acceptance. Such a business service can be reused in multiple places across multiple journeys. This means that foundational architecture has to be built in a modular fashion so it can be reused. As we design and deploy more and more of these journeys, the library of such reusable business services will continue to grow. As the environment changes, the business services will be updated to meet the new requirements of the ecosystem. With time, e-signatures may be replaced by retinal scans, and updating the single business service can ensure automatic propagation to all the places that used to use e-signatures. Such modularity, flexibility, and reconfigurability allow the organization to continue to adapt to the ever-changing business environment. These business services are in turn supported by applications and technology infrastructure that have to be integrated. However, by isolating technology in terms of business services they provide, it is possible to switch out certain modules of technology gradually instead of completely revamping the whole infrastructure. While all this is reality, we need architecture models to represent the reality so it's easier for us to understand and manipulate that reality. The architecture represents different types of entities such as people, processes, technology, applications, data, etc., and the relationships between these entities. Changes to the reality can be communicated through changes in the architecture. The architecture in turn has to be governed, changes budgeted for, and planned. The overall plan for digital transformation includes other aspects such as change management, talent management, and a mechanism for continuous adaptation.
Thank you very much. What I've done is I've shared these videos with your team, and they could be also distributed amongst yourselves. We will get into change management and distributed management at a later time. I just wanted to give you a very oversight and on a very high level view of what digital transformation leadership is. Very basic processes. Obviously, it's a very detailed, drilled down version of it, but it's just to give you an idea to where we stand. Now, what I would like to do is, if you remember at the very beginning of this webinar, I did mention that we stop at page number 4. Now, on page number 4, what I would request for all of us to do is to please go back to the survey forms that we have. Let me also open my chat window if you have any questions. Okay, so if you could go ahead and start filling in those very specific questions. I'm going to handhold you, so I have those questions on my screen. Now, this is the time where we all look at what systems we have in place in the organization and answer them to our best knowledge to what the organization is doing. And my one disclaimer that I have that I did mention, I forget to mention in the beginning, is we will, at the end of this call, we will be able to share with you a very simple, or rather a very holistic idea to what your digital transformation plan looks like. It's a survey result, and that'll be one survey result per organization. So what we will do is, depending on how many people are here from the very same organization, we will look at that and bundle the survey result for you and hand it over to your respective individuals. Okay, so just to go back to the survey, now the very first question on digital collaboration is, I would like to know, what are the digital tools that your organization is currently using for workplace collaboration? You have simple options there. You can tick all or just tick what are relevant to you. And the next question would be is, if you are using these tools, is it integrated and unified across not just the departments and the various teams within the organization, but does it also support a hybrid workplace for people who are working virtually, who might not be based remotely within your hometown, who might be in a different city or a country altogether, right? So once you've answered that, we move to the next set of questions, right? I'm going to give it just a few seconds between each question and the explanation to it. And in the meantime, if you have any queries, you could also raise your hand and also ask us anything that you might have that you might not have understood when I'm explaining this to you. Okay, now moving to the next section, this is agile management. Now, we did discuss a lot about the values and also what 12 principles that agile has in store for all of us and making this your own. Now, what I want to know is, has your organization currently already implemented the agile project methodology, right? And if you have, do you also currently create a very detailed plan, then launch it into a very cyclical process by putting in deadlines with no deviations? If that's a yes, then please do mark it. And the next question is a leading question where it's, if you are constantly using the agile methodology, right? Do you also continuously throughout the project, the life cycle of the project, are looking at it in small teams? Do you are looking at constantly adjusting the changes that are made? And also, are you promoting a lot of innovation, thought, design thinking to ensure that this builds rapid business execution? So you can answer both of them while we move to the next question. And the last topic of our discussion that we did have just before we got to the survey is digital transformation for leaderships, right? Now, what we want to know is, do you already have a digital transformation plan, right? And in this plan, do you have transformation goals? Do you also have various stages that kind of imbibe the technology and practices that you need to implement? That is your roadmap. So that's the first question. So your answer to that could be a yes or no, right? The second part of again, is a leading question. If you have a roadmap, right, do you have a skill gap analysis in place, which kind of factors in the digital competencies, the training need analysis, and the workforce upskilling to support this behavior in the form of your transformation implementation? I'm just going to give it a few more seconds before we move ahead. I would like to ask if there are any questions this far. I don't see anybody that has raised their hand, but if there are, please do stop me. Would be happy to answer anything that you might have as of now. Okay. Now, once we've taken up the first very solutions survey that we have for you, what I would like to know from you is for us to come back to you with a very holistic plan that kind of factors in what we could do for you, right? The number of hours that we have is evident on your screen here, and these are the various training modules that we have that we can help your employees with when it comes to upskilling and also being able to not just upskill but also reskill them in terms of what they might want to know basis the organization's values and the roadmap that you've created for them. So what we would like from you to get to know from you is how many people would you like to probably nominate across these various modules for a very combined joint session for your organization. This would help us cater and also go ahead and dig in a little deeper to understand where your organization is and what we can do for you in detail. Right? If you can provide this information now, it would be great. If you cannot, that's completely all right. We can have a follow-up call, a more detailed call, but you giving us this information would help us because then we can get back to you. You could have a look at it, have a look at the roadmap that we have for you in terms of the timeline it might take, and then come back to us in terms of fine-tuning what we might need to do for you at a later date. I'll just give this another minute before we move to the second piece of the puzzle. And from there, we can then look at the various functionalities of different structures within operations itself. All right. Okay. So let me just move to the next section, and I'm hoping again, please do not move to the end of the survey. This should be the last page that you see where you fill in the need gathering details, right? Do not move to the next section. You need to wait for me, and we'll do it together. Do not submit it, and do not submit the survey form at all, because then what happens is you might lose track of what you might need to do there. So please wait for me. The next section that you will need to wait on the survey form is tech-enabled operations, and let's just kind of dig into that a little bit more, right? Now, the explanation or the relevance of technology-enabled operations in the digital era is very simple. Now, if you look at operations the way it is poised today, right? Now, it is being able to use the most relevant technology and digital applications to deliver what? To deliver the best customer journey and experience, because eventually everything correlates and boils down to just that. What is your customer seeing? What is your customer interfacing with? What is the content that you're enabling the customer to interface with? How quick is it? How long does your customer spend either on your application or probably on your website? And what is the kind of feedback that you get from a customer who has been not just with you for the longest time, but also a customer who you've just onboarded as well? So what is the gut feeling that you're getting from all of this, right? Do you have the right kind of technology and applications in place, right? Now, when you look at technology enabled a workplace per se, right? Now, if you were to split that open, typically that would constitute of three very similar factors, or rather three factors that I would like to put it as: enterprise application, your robotic process automation, and emerging technologies. Now, if you were to take a very quick glance at what enterprise application is, now, if you were to just look at it from a dissected format, right? Now, it's about consolidating an entire enterprise's planning, probably manufacturing, sales, marketing effort into one very simple management system. Now, let's look at the traditional way of doing business in terms of typically how most industries do function even now. Now, if you were to look at the left side of my screen, and if you look at the various business units that we have here, right? We have your human resources, quality management, sales, material, manufacturing, logistics. Now, typically, each of these very specific units function in silos and systems that only are addressed and worked on by their respective teams or colleagues, right? So this is typically what we call a silo or not a bundled way of working. Now, what happens here is the drawback with this is Now, you will have to go and dig for information because it's not available on cloud, it's not available at a common source or a central repository system. It's available with only that very specific team. Now, the flaws with that is obviously it's about being able to revert to a very specific set of problems at a very specific set of a very specific set of deadlines, right? The second set of problems that you will face is that what if a specific set of people leave the organization? Who is held responsible as the author of that repository or that stored information? Or what if by accident, if it is not backed up on cloud, what happens to that source of information if by some way or reason that gets deleted, right? Now let's look at what efficiencies or efficacies that we have when you look at a system that works through an integrated format. Now let's look at a same system or a pattern. Now here what we have is we've thrown in an ERP system that works as a very central modular way of working where all your business units are not just interchanging information, but they're collaborating. And you also can pick information basis what your requirements is and use them for what your efficiencies are and demands it as well, right? So what I would look at is I would look at asking you a question is, does your organization have the current capability where you have a centralized ERP system, where you know that everything is stored? You're making these decisions based on data that is stored, that also has a lot of semblance to what is happening to that data in real time, right? Because this repository is not just shared by one business unit, it's shared and used by your entire organization because it's on a central repository system, right? Now, you can obviously look at the efficiencies of a system like this, and I'm sure a lot of you all are already practicing it, but an enterprise application is typically just that. And just to lay emphasis on that, I would like to very quickly show you something that I have for you around the enterprise application. So just give me a quick minute while I do this. Just allow me a second. All right, let's look at this from here.
So what are enterprise applications? Enterprise applications are the software applications used by enterprise users for performing business-related tasks. And as you can see in the first video, typical enterprise system, you will have CRM application, you have HR application, you have supply chain, you have finance, communication, you have mail. So basically, there is hardly any facet or function or department to name where enterprise application has got any project. And we all are users of the enterprise application. So if we are users of the enterprise application, we are providing the enterprise application. So obviously our company provides us the enterprise application. So from where our company gets the enterprise application. So typically, enterprise applications are developed as vendors, and Pfizer is one of the vendors. There are other vendors like SAP, Oracle, IBM, and these companies design the enterprise application to sell those applications to the enterprises, large organizations, and then enterprise makes them to the user. So it is a B2B relation, and in this section, we are focusing more about vendor perspective of the enterprise. And these are some of the examples of enterprise applications. And enterprise application did not mean only restricted to billing, trading, or cash management. The new and accident management system that we use in the daily life is the enterprise application. The reimbursement system or the finance system in your company is the enterprise application. This March is around and December is already started. The performance management system that is used for appraisal is the enterprise. So let's drill down a little bit more to understand what makes enterprise application an enterprise application. So
All right, thank you for that. Again, these videos have been shared with your team and you can access them if you need to. That shouldn't be a problem at all, right? Now let's just look at, like I did mention, we have three very integral parts of the tech-enabled workplace. Now let's come back to the second part to it, the robotic process automation part to it. Now we've looked at a lot of these, and I'm sure a lot of I did see a lot of very very big names on the call and people who already, and I've kind of googled y'all, I kind of looked at what your industry does while Baka was talking to all of y'all, right? And it's a very diverse crowd that we have here today. Now irrespective of which organization we work in. Now, there definitely are tasks that are repetitive, right? Across the board, across the teams, across people, across channels, right? There are a lot of repetitive tasks that are being done on a daily basis, which can be programmed by a human to create a software that could be done by it without taking a break with 100% efficiency every day throughout the year for the rest of its life until you need to make a change by itself. Now, if you were to just look at the benefits, and I just put a very simple diagram because I don't really want to talk over these definitions too much, but also substantiate with some examples that we have, right? Now, typically, if you look at the benefits of robotic process automation, now, obviously, you're looking at a very high improve employee morale because now what happens is you're taking away the time that an employee is spending on repetitive tasks and ensuring that they can dedicate that time to do more productive and interesting and engaging work. Now let's look at the compliance aspects to it, right? Now the bots by itself that you create follow a very a regulatory compliance, right? Which means if you tie it to a certain set of rules and functionality, the bot will not move away from it until you tell it to, and it will obviously go back and authenticate that to its trail of history that it has conducted these tasks with, right? Now, also looking at consistency, which I think is one of the most important aspects, is these tasks that are conducted by the bots, right, is performed the same way every day for the rest of its time that it's a bot that you have created, unless you go ahead and change its code to understanding that this task might need to be performed at a certain different way or a style because of a lot of external factors that might be influencing your product or your organization currently, right? Now, this correlates back to the accuracy and also the low technical barrier because, for instance, somebody doesn't need to understand programming. I mean, thanks to natural language programming today, that with the access to a lot of open source software, graphic user interface tools, that one can go ahead and just create these basic bots and configure these bots to perform these tasks, right? Now, I would like to again very quickly pen that down for you and show you something that we have around robotic process automation. It's a very interesting video. Please do have a look at it.
One particular brand of shampoo. Who determines how you get in touch with a big organization and its manager for customer service? These small decisions are a part of an entire ecosystem called robotic process automation that is now making its presence felt in diverse fields like customer satisfaction, manufacturing, and even warehousing. To understand this vibrant field, we talked to Milan Seth, the Executive Vice President at Automation Anywhere.
So essentially, when we talk about automation, we first will talk about it, what is not solved today. What is not solved today is that there are a lot of tasks which are mundane, repetitive in nature, still not gone. There are a lot of activities which are, engaging with multiple systems, not gone. A lot of technologies have come, and that is not gone. And automation came in the form of a backend system, but still needed humans to work with those systems, integrate multiple systems from one system to another. So those are all the challenges of the problems. That is where this technology we today are leaders in came with this. Where we said that we will do the front end automation, which will mimic human action and which will take away the mundane activities from him. That was the first original goal. AI is something which is coming in a big way, where you can build multiple technologies like cognitive learning, like machine learning, like fuzzy logic. All this technology can come together to solve a business problem for a better speed, better quality, and better effectiveness. A lot of FMCG companies deal with significant dealer and distribution data, and this data comes to them in form of a planning at the lowest SKU level. So a certain soap or certain cream in a geography, a district in India is something that you're planning. Now you do all that at that level of detail. And then you have the actual market report coming your way. Today, before this technology came into play, you spend hundreds of people spend hundreds of hours to reconcile and integrate this data. Our technology doesn't take time because automated fashion using data structure integration. Here it is. That's one case. Skills which you need today will be different the skills you need tomorrow. So I think any technology will create more and more jobs.
Or I'm sure that was pretty self-explanatory. Thank you very much. Now, just to move ahead, let's look at the last aspect to what tech-enabled operations has for us. Now, when we look at emerging technologies today, we are talking about potentially those unrecognized, let me call them applications or technologies across a very wide range of industry and future sectors, right? Now, what I have here on my right of my screen is a technology, a trend radar, right? Now, don't pay too much of attention to what's happening all around it, but let me just give you a very simple example, right? Now, you see the yellow inner circle, right? Now, this is typically what was in the gray circle outside about 7 to 8 years ago, right? And if you look at the mass and the range, now they are typically factored around the number of, let's say, organizations or technologies being used at this very right moment that defines the mass. Now, the range is typically, if you look at the outer circle, that's the gray, right? Now, this typically are influenced by business enablers, productivity revolution, interface and experiences, right? And it defines, now, if you look at AI-generated composite applications, top left-hand corner of the circle. Now, if you look at the range that it determines, it says it will be in our industry, within our personal spaces, within our ecosystem within the next 6 to 8 years. Now, that doesn't mean that the testing and the thought process hasn't already begun. It obviously has. The same way your advanced computer vision, which basically is your eyes to artificial intelligence, was exactly there about close to 7 to 8, I would say about 10 years ago. Now, today it's within our personal space, it's on everybody's mobile systems, it's on your laptop, it's even on your TV now. And that is typically how fast emerging technology is moving. Now, while you might not have needed to use something like, let's say, an LCA or a low code application platform, but it is very integral, especially if you look at cross skilling or reskilling or upskilling people in the functional roles. Right now, typically, I am not somebody who comes from a statistical background, but I did pick up and understand how you work on open source coding, understand how basic terminologies and interfaces work. And it's as easy as, once you learn it, it's as easy as using the macros or micro within Excel and using a lot of these drop-down functionalities, import and export of data to create any visualization form or even an application, right? So that's typically how the emerging technology landscape is. And it typically is only in a matter of time that you will be hit by the importance of why these technologies mean so much to us, is because the customers also are being exposed to this, and people definitely are enjoying the fact that you can do this quicker, faster, and better than what it was a few years ago, right? Now, I have a quick video to show you around emerging technologies here. Again, please sit back and just have a look at what this has to say for you.
The top 5 tech trends for 2020. As a futurist, I look far ahead, but I also look at the short term to really give business leaders and decision makers an understanding of the things they need to focus on right now and right here. AI everywhere. I've not talked about AI as a future trend for many years, but in 2023, it will enter the mainstream. We now have apps that have AI embedded in them. We have a no-code environment, which means anyone can design new AI applications without any knowledge of programming. We now have artificial intelligence as a service. That means companies that store your data have the ability to simply switch on new AI capabilities. And this will augment all of our jobs. It will change all of our business processes. Some of the key trends within AI that I'm watching very carefully are natural language processing and machine vision, as well as the generation of synthetic content. For me, this has been brought to the mainstream by companies like Metaphysic that created the deep Tom Cruise that went viral on TikTok. And they just went to the grand final of America's Got Talent, where they brought Elvis back to life and had Elvis sing with Simon Cowell. So for me, this is a really important trend every company needs to watch very carefully. Metaverse technologies. In 2023, technologies like virtual and augmented reality will reshape our organizations and will increasingly blur the lines between the physical and the digital world. Companies now need to start preparing for this and think about more immersive content and to create a more immersive world of work. They need to experiment and pilot with these technologies and maybe even think about digital-only products like companies such as Nike are now doing. Even McDonald's is thinking about opening a digital restaurant. And we also need to rethink our customer and employee experiences. Can we hold meetings in a virtual room that makes it better than Zoom? And we need to think about customer support that can use augmented reality to help customers fix problems and help them assemble things and so on. So these are really important trends to watch, and now it's time for companies to get their hands dirty.
What I'll do is I will quickly stop here. It gives you enough reference to where we are heading with emerging technologies, and you can have a look at the video in time. It's a long video. It's about 5.5, 6 minutes. Very interesting video. It touches upon the importance and typically how do you set up your organization to embark on the emerging technology space, right? Now, what I would like to do here is I would like to very quickly pick up on the survey form that we left up on. Now, what I would like to do for all of y'all is if you could go to the page that we stopped on, and what you should see is enterprise application. Now, before we start, I would just have a question for everybody. Are we all on the same page? And I'm not sure if I'll be able to see everybody put their hands up, but is everybody on the same page? Could I just confirm? If we could just have a few confirmations, that should do for now. Just a thumbs up to saying that we are on the same page. Do you see enterprise applications on your screen on the survey form? And by survey form, I mean this form here. Just a second. This is the form. I obviously stayed back at page 4. Let me just move to the enterprise application piece here. Just 1 second. Yeah, the reason I keep checking back with you all is because it's important that we fill this up together. Just 1 second. Hi team, ASSOCHAM, is there any way to check if everybody's in alignment with us, if we are all on the same page? Any way to check? Because I just don't want to leave a large group back for us to proceed, because this part is very important.
So the participants can drop a message in the chat box.
Yes. I would just like to know if you all are on the same page right now. We're going to move a little quick from here because these are smaller components. This is a larger part, so I would like to concentrate a little bit on this. So if you're all on the same page, I'll move ahead. Thanks, Vikram. Okay. Now, while you refer to the survey form, I'm going to go back to my presentation. Now, the very specific set of questions that we would like to ask you here, right? Now, while you understand what enterprise applications already are, we would like to understand from you in terms of from a very sales and marketing functionality, right? Now, are you currently using your enterprise applications with all its features and built functionalities for digital and web front solutioning, for marketing campaign management, for customer, for CRM, or for something else that we haven't mentioned here very specifically? You could tag that in for under others and let us know. But we would just like to know, under sales and marketing functionalities, what are you currently using your enterprise applications for and how it currently is integrated? That would give me a lot of insights by the answers you give me. Now, going to the enterprise resource planning piece, right? Now, I would like to understand from people, if you are from these various departments, could you let me know from a very overall umbrella's perspective, under the resource planning piece, are you currently using this for accounting, enterprise operations, HR, and any other respective teams? Do type that in for me if you don't see the answer here and let us know. Now, the last piece is if you are using your enterprise applications to integrate front of your organization to the back office operations, is this process currently integrated? And is it also created to deliver a very straight through transactional process for your entire organization? So the answer to that could be yes or no. Please do respond to that. Now, moving to the last section of this entire piece is the robotic process automation part. Now, what I would like to know is if you currently already are implementing RPA, right? And if you've understood, if you've implemented RPA, that you are implementing RPA to remove any manual interventions or static processes that you might have, right? And the second piece is, if you have used RPA, is it currently embedded or imbibed with any sort of or rather low-code visual application tools? And do you also have people who do this in-house for you, most importantly, right? So the answer to that would be either yes or no. I've just kind of shortened the entire question for you to save the time if you are reading it already, right? Now, under emerging technologies, I've added another section there on your survey form that you don't see on my screen, is could we know from you what out of these three specific technologies have you implemented? But what you will see on the survey form is I've added another section that says none, provided that I understand that you haven't embarked on it yet. None would also include that you might have thought about it, but haven't really had the resource to move on to the scale that you would like to move at right now, right? So you could take that up as well. I'll just give this a quick minute before we move to the last few sections of the webinar. Okay. Now looking at the need gathering, because this again is one of the simple parts that I didn't mention in the beginning, we would require some sort of information from you in terms of who are the people that you've identified for these various training modules that we have in place for you. Who might it be within your organization that would be a part of this entire transformation journey? Like the very question that we had in the beginning, it's a horizontal and vertical process, right? So if you could just introspect to understand and give us those simple details to how many people you might have, so we can do the rest for you. We can do the heavy lifting for you and get back to you with this kind of information to what it might take, the time it would take as well to do this for you. All right, I'll just give this another quick minute just to do a quick time check. It's 4:30, right? So I would like to complete this with 5 minutes to spare, probably even more, so we have time to open for question and answers as well. All right, so I'll just give this another quick minute before we proceed to the next solution here. Thank you. All right. I'm assuming that everybody is at the same pace that I'm in. Please wait on the OmniCommerce survey form. Do not move from there. Now you can leave the form aside. I'll tell you where to go back to it. Now you can just sit in front of your systems and just pay attention to what we have for you in store, right? Now, when it comes to OmniCommerce, matters get very interesting for a very simple reason, right? Now, this is where your entire organization spends all its time, money, effort, and the workforce that you have, be it through sales and marketing, where you are looking at your customer very, very closely, right? You are not just integrating all the methods you have, not just integrating the technologies you have, but you are doing it for one sole reason, is to ensure that all your customers not only have a seamless, but also have a very impactful customer experience when they touch with not just your brand, when they touch base with the individuals that are interacting and representing your brand as well, right? Now, within OmniCommerce, now, if I were to look at just the structure of OmniCommerce, I would like to break them down into three very specific sections, right? One is understanding if your product fits the market. Do you have a buying need? Have you created a void or a space within the market where your product really fits in? And do you have a base that kind of fulfills the requirement for you to go ahead and upscale or present your product to a very specific set of markets, for instance, across the world. Now, then you look at then what we have is for you is digital sales. Now, do you have a team that fully functionally understands what they do? And then in Omni Marketing, we look at what we could do for you, or rather what you are using as a full funnel marketing activity that you already currently have in place. Now, to very simply describe what product market fit is, right? It's very simply you validating and scaling a product that you might have that fits a certain niche customer-centric market space, right? Now, when you have identified that the market needs a specific solution, then you know that there are customers present for you. That's where you've created a product market fit. Now, you can leave it to formation, validation, and growth, but in simple essence is if you've understood that there is a reason for a customer to buy a product and you actually have a customer base, right? That's where you have a product market fit. Let me quickly show you what we have just to drive this home a little bit more for you in the form of a video, right?
Product market fit is quite simply building something that people want. Obviously, the goal of a startup or a product innovator is to build something. However, until somebody uses it, until somebody pays for it with their time, with their energy, with their money, it's really not product market fit. Product market fit is not about how many people are using it. Product market fit is really about who's using it in your target demographic. Are they able to get their job done? Is it solving a deep pain point as opposed to being a nice to have? And eventually, is the customer excited enough to go tell 10 other people about it because it's solving such a deep problem for that customer as well as other customers? The simplest way to know if you have product market fit is really by figuring out if customers are telling other customers, if you're getting a high net promoter score, if people would recommend your product to other people. In B2B, it's even simpler because the customer will not let you leave the room once you've talked about your product or given a demo. In fact, they'll want the finance person to come in and start thinking about the pricing and doing the contract negotiation. In B2C, they will want to pull out that product and show it to their friends or their colleagues or their family, saying, hey, for that problem, use this. This is amazing. How come you're not using this? So it's really that simple. Build something that people want and build something that people want to talk about.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, just moving to the next section of it. Now, when I did mention about digital sales in the beginning of the slide, right? Now, the efficiency that you can engage a customer and build a very strong relationship, but using a digital format or a digital collaborative tool or digitally is what we call in digital sales. Now, for instance, are you currently already segmenting your customers in terms of where they fit basis the kind of product lines that you have, your offerings, for instance, right? Now, do your sales team currently already use some sort of a solution sales canvas where they're benchmarking not just your competitors in terms of pricing, you're looking at not just product pricing, in other words, you're looking at the kind of the customer database that you have. You're looking at the customers widespread across different regions in terms of what is their paying capacity for your specific product or your lines of products, right? Are your sales or your individuals currently sitting down looking at ways to digitally enhance their reach to not just the customers, but also then go ahead and gauge the results very proportionately post that as well, right? Now, what we have for you in digital sales is a very quick video again. And again, I'm just drawing some reference so that, you know, it's visually also imbibed for you.
In automotive, we are completely change our, in some ways, core business. The relationship with consumer and the chance to be really close with the user experience and the way the customer interact with the brand is really key.
Our potential customers are every day more spending a lot of time on the digital network, trying to find information, trying to find reassurance before buying something. And we need to evolve in order to be where the customer is.
Our goal is to be the consistent consumer journey that is going from offline to online, of course, being on the digital environment help us also in delivering new kind of messages that are tailor-made, are customized and one-to-one, and helps us also in having a consistent communication.
Digital marketing is very important for IE because being a Spanish university is our window to the world.
We are transforming the whole company in a digital basis to drive the results, and as our market is becoming more competitive, and we have to be very, very good in driving efficiency in our campaign.
Lavazza is quite a traditional business, so traditional in terms of market, in terms of processes, digital marketing can help Lavazza in moving forward in all these fields.
So building your digital skills first feels like it's a tsunami of information that comes right at you. And then you need to grasp what does all this terminology mean. From that, you can basically build on small blocks of knowledge. Block by block, you understand what all these things mean. Then you build your campaigns with those learnings.
The main issue that we have to overcome is the culture, of course, because we need to have all people of the organization thinking first digital.
One of the biggest challenges, I think, is the people. It's more the change management on how to adapt to new technologies.
For me, the main challenge is try to leverage the digital investment as much as possible in order to move the traditional media channels into a digital approach.
So one of the big challenges for us is to get stakeholders in the company along with a long-term branding strategy, something they have to say yes to today, and they know they're going to see the bigger results only in the long run, not today, tomorrow, next week.
All right, hope that gave us some ideas to what other brands, obviously the biggest brands in the world also are doing, which are very similar to what everyone today wants to go after as well. Now, when you look at all of this and it all comes together in the form of product market fit and digital sales and digital marketing, it typically is how we construct and use various channels that are available to us for the organization to interact with our consumers. Now, it could be on through your store, a physical store. It could be through, let's say, websites. It could be through a call center if it's a B2C brand, if it's through email, social media, mobile, and it all is to serve just one single purpose. It's to ensure that we can put all of this together, ensure that we have a very, very robust structure that where the sales and the marketing are constantly interacting with each other. It's not only about gauging what your product can, where your product can fit. It's also about understanding the decisions your customers are making before they are buying. How long are they probably staying on your very specific application for your product, right? Is it beyond a certain average that the customer would spend, or is it your drop rates are too high? Who's making these decisions? So you can improve the efficiency of your product the way it's shown in terms of a brand wherever it's shown, right? Be it through a physical store or on your application on the mobile or through social media itself. So how do you take all of this and put it into a funnel, a full funnel marketing system where you can go ahead and very confidently position and have people work on this with the technology that you have, being also upskilled to use a specific technology for a certain reason, for a specific outcome as well, right? Now, I have a very quick video for you to play again. And this is again around omni-channel marketing. And we have very few things after this to close with. Yeah.
In today's digital-first world, companies need to provide seamless customer experiences in order to survive. For marketers, this means fully embracing omnichannel as part of their current vision. 71% of customers are already using multiple channels to start and complete their transactions. And they expect a cohesive customer journey across both channels and devices. Each moment is critical to building trusted relationships and requires marketers to truly understand each customer, engage with intelligence, and optimize the impact of every campaign. But great omnichannel marketing doesn't just happen overnight. So we've broken it down into 3 key steps to help get you there. Step 1, onboard your customers. We all know how important first impressions are. They set the tone for a relationship. Greet someone inappropriately, and they're likely to be less interested in getting to know you. But welcome them with open arms, a friendly smile, and genuine interest, and you're likely off to a great start. For marketers, things are no different. We're in the relationship game, so treating customers like you treat new acquaintances is imperative. When a customer first comes to your business, the onboarding process is your first impression. So what do you need to be thinking about? Well, first and foremost, it's the greeting. A warm welcome makes individuals feel comfortable. Marketers should focus on this for every customer they engage with. Fortunately, they've come to you, so you already know their name and some other basic details. Use what you know to personalize that first encounter, such as a welcome email, and use that as a launchpad for getting to know them better. As time goes on, to learn more about your customer. This is comparable to asking new acquaintances questions. And as you learn more, you can then tailor the engagements so that they resonate more deeply with each individual. Step 2, activate your first-party data. Okay, so you've passed the acquaintance phase. Your new friends, your customers, have been embraced with open arms, and they've been interacting with your business for a few months now. With any relationship, as you move through different phases, you learn more about the other person, which enables you to bring more value to the friendship. For marketers, it's no different. Every customer engagement provides us with insights we can then use to enhance future interactions. This could be the types of content they click on, the channels they engage with, or their buying habits. In person-to-person relationships, we call these behaviors. In marketer-to-customer relationships, behaviors are showcased in the form of first-party data. This information can be used to personalize every interaction. For example, if a customer doesn't open an email, you can advertise to them or engage via mobile instead. If a customer responds best to what's new, you can optimize engagements around new releases. By putting your first-party data to work, you can make experiences less generic and more human. Step 3, measure your marketing. Relationships are all about growth, learning, understanding, and evolving. In marketing, learning comes through measurement. As individuals, we measure how people respond to things all the time, and we consider those responses in deciding how we behave day to day.
All right, I will cut short that video here again. You can have access to it for sure, not to worry, it's with your team, but I'm just cutting it short just in the interest of time for now, right? But we typically cover the entire essence of what we mean by omni marketing and making this very important decision through through data that we have that we collect through either a sales touch point or a marketing touch point nonetheless. Now, before we move to the last part of the presentation today, I just urge all of you all to go back to the survey form that we have. And again, this time we will start from digital sales. It's the second last part to our survey. And we have very few set of questions here. If you could please go back to the survey form. And again, it's this form. And just to double check, we'll just take a minute to complete this verification so that we know everybody's on the same page that I am. All right. And as you can see, we just have another page post this and we complete the workshop. So in this part of the presentation, what I would like for you to kind of help me with and also understand is, do you currently already prepare a product market fit canvas? And I was talking about your sales folks or your teams, your collaborative teams, creating something where you are ensuring that all the touch points from very customer centric data to competition centric to price sensitive data is also captured and you know what you're going up against, right? So the answer is yes. If you're doing it, you click on yes. If not, it's a no, and it's fine, right? And the next set is, I would like to know what are the multi-channel tools that you are currently using, your organization is currently using for your online to offline engagement. And there are a few options here. You could select what fits you the most and the best and also let us know. The next part is the omni-channel marketing part. Now, what we would like to know is, under what of the categories that we have as options for you there, where you currently use as omni-channel marketing and use them for campaigns to drive campaigns for your organization, right? So if you could select which are these that you currently use. And if you are currently using them, I would also like to you that you also have a functionality where you're driving content, a lot of very heavy content that's driven to your customers, where they're actually interacting with you It could be new customers, it could be existing customers for customer loyalty programs or service delivery programs or an opportunity management uh, uh, experience that you might want to have or create for your customer. We would like to know where are you driving this kind of content, and you can select the options under them, right? And the last section is, if you could let us know, if basis what you see on the screen under the survey forms, right? Now, we are providing you with alternative routes and also solutions to these various training modules. And the hours are very clearly described next to it. Now, the next section is obviously you would want to know what is covered under that. But before we get to that, at the very nutshell, at understanding that if we were to give you the option to climb the ladder and give your folks the experience to market on Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and also be able to use all of this and create an implementation project by itself, right? Who would be those people that you would like to identify to nominate to our program? So the sales from our team, or rather from eduCLaaS, the group from eduCLaaS can then get back to you and give you a very holistic proposal to kind of determine the time and as well as the cost that this will take to accomplish your specific goals at the moment, right? I'll give it again another minute before we proceed. And a time check here, we have 12 minutes to 5, and I do intend to complete it without rushing it for everybody, right? So I'll give this one more minute and before we move ahead to the next section. And this will be the last section for the webinar today. If there are any questions, I am active on chat as well. I am constantly looking at the chat window. If there's anything that you have, please do drop us a line. In case I don't miss it, I will have someone pick up on it as well. So that shouldn't be a problem too. Right. Okay. I'm assuming everybody is with me. If there isn't, if that isn't the case, the link is in the Dropbox. My suggestion is to click on the link and save the assessment. The top right-hand corner of the assessment sheet, you have an option where you can save it to take it up later. But we urge you to do that because we want to ensure that the time you've spent with us is worthwhile too, right? All right. Now, moving to the last part of the presentation, the webinar today, right? Now, what we have for you is something that we've seen, we've dealt with, and understand the importance of, which is data-driven business. Now, the power that data has over us is the simple reason is because data cannot be flawed with unless obviously, right? But if you look at data and if you can detect patterns and use those patterns to go back and transform your current business and processes and also use it to predict future trends, you are not only in a win-win situation, but you are also using data and in empowering your business to use data and not go by something that we call a gut instinct or a gut feel decision that you're making, right? Now, that is the very simplistic definition of what data analytics is. But under the smart workplace banner that eduCLaaS gives you, right, we have two specific verticals. One is data analytics, one is artificial intelligence. Now, if we were to look at data analytics from, let's say, a 10,000 feet up in the air's view for now, right? You typically would have data in the form of social media. It could be data in the form of sensors through the assembly lines or the production units that you have from where you come from. It could be through scientific data, medical records, call details, multimedia in the form of photos and videos, business transactions, and web data, right? Now, how do you use all of this and create some sort of profiling, cleansing, and developing where basically you are looking at data and making a decision that can be translated into very formidable insights into saying, probably my product isn't selling during summers or winters or probably during spring, for instance. My product isn't selling in probably North India or South India for certain reasons, but you also are backing that up with saying why it isn't selling. Is it a buying behavior? Is it a customer behavior? Is it a marketing trend? Or probably is it just a market trend where today there's a shift or a paradigm shift to something that probably is available for a cheaper price or is available a little more openly in the market today? Do you have to make a hard decision to say that we might either need to lower our cost or the cost to kind of go ahead and create a specific product offering to the customer, or probably would you have to look at extending your market awareness or your brand to markets that currently don't have the availability of your current product? How are you making these decisions? And typically through analytics, through ensuring that you first of all have this kind of data present, through sourcing it through processes, through various formats that I discussed in the very beginning, it could be ERPs, it could be just centralized cloud platforms and systems, and ensuring that each unit or each business unit within your organization understands the importance of data. And if you can use this data and provide and use some sort of a prescriptive, predictive, or any form of sensitized data cleansing methodology, you will arrive with very surprising facts that will give you insights to where business is not just headed, but also where your competition could also be heading towards you, right? Now, looking from data analytics, we have a very quick video to play for you. And again, in the interest of time, I will give you just the essence of the videos, but I will not drag them long enough to take that essence off. So please do bear with me. I just have 2 more videos to
Building a
go.
strong data-driven organization. Why companies are not there yet. Suppose you show a stack of bricks to bricklayers and ask them to build a skyscraper. They won't get that far. Yet, that's what many business managers expect their data analysts to do with data. You need a few more skills to set up the foundation for a data-driven organization. The recent HBR article titled, Why You're Not Getting Value from Your Data Science, talks to a few other reasons. Here, I'll share an organizational framework to help. As an example, take a legacy company that has over the years collected and continues to collect data. The company is siloed by products because that's the way companies were organized back then. It made sense at the time. Now, however, the structure is not working. Customers are not just interfacing with one part of the company. They purchase multiple products, have multiple interactions across multiple channels, and expect the company to know them well and cater to their unique needs. The only way to achieve data integrity to serve customers well is to connect siloed data. So what should this company do? First, there are already a few good data analysts in their respective functional areas. Collectively, they have deep database skills, thorough understanding of how data is organized, and understand the business domain well. They use tools to visualize the siloed data and create charts and plots to show trends to management, who can then make decisions on this. Siloed analysis is useful, but not good enough. To get a better view across these areas, we need more data experts who can look across multiple areas and logically consolidate all that data so more value can be derived from them collectively. This calls for a different set of skills, such as the ability to explore data, transform, cross-correlate, merge, and interpret the data. Experts who help to integrate the data are typically data scientists. Data integration is useful, but not good enough. Today, companies need to be data-driven to be competitive in the marketplace. Data-driven means exploiting data to make business decisions and provide great customer experiences. If over time, you notice that most of the time a customer buys active men products, you may infer that this customer is a young adult. All your interactions with this customer should adapt to that knowledge. While data scientists have deep data knowledge and know how to manipulate it, today we expect more. The discipline of machine learning can be used for predictive analytics and infer something more from the data. In other words, we move from computation to prediction. We should be able to anticipate something before it happens and be ready to respond. This calls for a different set of skills, such as the ability to understand data, to build models that represent the data, and to develop and fine-tune algorithms that learn from the data.
All right, apologies. I would like to cut short that right there. I just wanted to understand and get to the predictive part of data analytics. Now, moving to the last section that I have for you is around artificial intelligence, right? Now, while we've heard of this a lot and we currently understand as well, and I know most of us here on the call today know what this typically is, right? Now, the correlation between what we do with computers and to solve a specific set of problems and the decision that probably the computers can also make for us to help us go ahead and perform those actions in terms of predictive decisions that the computer has given us to kind of very feasible in feasible form to go ahead and create some sort of a systematic approach to put an end to those problems as well, right? So artificial intelligence is a culmination of everything that we see today. It's robotics. It's with us in self-autonomous cars. It's with us in natural language processing. It's with us in all of our virtual assistants that we have online. It's through image analysis that we have, right? And a lot of these applications that we've used today has also enabled us to understand the way AI technologies work today in today's day and age as well. So as the last video that I have for you today, I would like to kind of drive this fact home for you in terms of what AI can also do for your very specific workforce, as well as your customers and your organization in totality.
Artificial intelligence for people in a hurry. The easiest way to think about artificial intelligence is in the context of the human. After all, humans are the most intelligent creatures we know of. AI is a broad branch of computer science. The goal of AI is to create systems that can function intelligently and independently. Humans can speak and listen to communicate through language. This is the field of speech recognition. Much of speech recognition is statistically based. Hence, it's called statistical learning. Humans can write and read text in a language. This is the field of NLP, or natural language processing. Humans can see with their eyes and process what they see. This is the field of computer vision. Computer vision falls under the symbolic way for computers to process information. Recently, there's been another way, which I'll come to later. Humans recognize the scene around them through their eyes, which create images of that world. This field of image processing, which even though is not directly related to AI, is required for computer vision. Humans can understand their environment and move around fluidly. This is the field of robotics. Humans have the ability to see patterns, such as grouping of like objects. This is the field of pattern recognition. Machines are even better at pattern recognition because they can use more data and dimensions of data. This is the field of machine learning. Now let's talk about the human brain. The human brain is a network of neurons, and we use these to learn things. If we can replicate the structure and the function of the human brain, we might be able to get cognitive capabilities in machines. This is the field of neural networks. If these networks are more complex and deeper, and we use those to learn complex things, that is the field of deep learning. There are different types of deep learning in machines, which are essentially different techniques.
All right, I will again stop the video right here. Deep learning would kind of really branch into a very different subject altogether. But again, for reference, the videos are with you also. Please take a time and have a look at them, not to worry. So what I would like to do at this point is very quickly go ahead to kind of start wrapping this entire session up. But before I do that, I would again request everybody to go back to the survey form. It's the last part, it's the last page. And let me show you what you will be doing next is you'll be taking up the last specific page when it comes to the survey form for us. And that is under, just one second, the data analytics and the smart business solution. That's the last page right here. Now, while you're looking at that, I would just like to ask you these very specific questions, and then we can wrap this up. Is under the data analytics functionality, right? Now, do you currently use the following analytical tools to collect, analyze, integrate, and also present actionable data? Do you currently either use spreadsheets, any form of business intelligence like Power BI currently, right, or Tableau? Are you currently also using machine learning functionality within your office space, right? Do let us know. And are you currently adopting business intelligence tools to deliver the following analytics for the following different business units? Now, there could be your sales, operations, finance, customer analytics, and anything specific. Do let us know. We want to understand you a little better, which is why we are asking you these questions. So when we come back to you, we will have a very catered, very simple and a holistic approach when it comes to how we look at your organization embracing digital transformation. And the last question is, are you planning to adopt ML and AI for the following business teams or your functions? Across these, do let us know which teams they are. If you already haven't, if you are, let us know, right? And the last but not the least, the last part of this entire presentation is we would like for you to think who are the people that you would have to create these projects in business analytics, use data analytics and visualization as well, and create these very specific projects around, be it image detection or anything under your NLP or value proposition that could be driven through AI and deep learning as well. Just do let us know so we can come back to you with the right information as well. I'll just need a few more minutes before we wrap it up, considering we started a little late. So that's about it that we have for you today. I would like to pause here, open this up for any questions, or if you think you would like to talk to us, I'll just be online for you. But thank you very much for your time. I hope you've learned something today. If not learned, I hope you've replenished your knowledge to what you already knew. And there was something else for you in store today. And probably I hope that the 3 hours spent with us today is valuable, and you will see that in the form of our revert to you in the form of the survey results that we have for you when we do revert to you again quickly. Thank you very much for your team. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, for your time again. I'll just pause here and give this mic over to Vikram and the ASSOCHAM team. Thank you.
Hi, Chris. Thank you very much for the great presentation. And thank you, Vikram, and the entire eduCLaaS team as well. I hope the participants had a great learning from this session, and definitely will get in touch with you for all future collaborations, because there is a lot of value that can be added to their organization through eduCLaaS that we foresee. And we are sure that is going to enhance their business going forward. So I really thank eduCLaaS once again for going ahead and giving this presentation to our industry members. And we look forward to further such sessions, and also for future collaborations with eduCLaaS. Thank you very much, Vikram. Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks, Preeti. And thanks, Vishwanath, as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.